So welcome to everyone who's here. This is an inaugural series called the HeatSpring Creator Series. This is informal. These are structured to be informal lunch and learn, 3 minutes of context on a tool, a quick demo, and then a chance to ask questions. And all of these sessions will be recorded and uploaded and shared across either our HeatSpring's YouTube channel or embedded into HeatSpring somewhere itself. The reason for these, just to kick off the whole series, is to highlight some of the tools that we think can help either instructors or companies that are building content that can either improve their workflow or maybe allow them to think about creating content in a different way. And to kick things off, it's with OBS, which is Open Broadcaster Studio. OBS, the use case is it gives you the chance to record a presentation, a slide deck, or a lecture. If you are recording software tutorials or showing someone how to use a tool, this is a great way to do that. It's also a way to present a collection of documents. And after I go through the demo, you might think about like how you organize your screen and how you use that differently. Typically, OBS is used and very popular with the online gaming or streaming community, and it gives the person a lot of control over video sources and how things appear and disappear. And a lot of those things may not be relevant for educators. It could be distracting, but if you are focused on certain things that can add value, it's a free tool and it's worth looking at. So why would you use OBS? I think the main reason, and if you're comparing this to something you use now, you get screen recording for free with Zoom, Google Meet. This meeting's being recorded. So that'll give you an MP4 file and you could have a recording. Those typically tend to be compressed, a lower resolution, and a lower frame rate. So if that's coming off of Zoom or Google Meet. If you're using something like Snagit or Camtasia or any of these other purpose-built screen recording software, they're great. And I use those in addition to OBS. What I'd like to demonstrate today is something that you can do with a presentation that's slightly different inside OBS where you have more control. And it's free and open source, which is sometimes free and open source can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes I've heard the phrase, I can't afford free on some software that isn't updated or maintained. And this is not that case. OBS has been around for a number of years and is actively supported and is stable across Mac, PC, Linux, and their ecosystem for users is rich. And there is a world of tutorials out there, some of which can be a little overstimulating. Coming from the gaming community, they can really dial it up to 11, but the content is good. So if you are interested in OBS, there's a great set of resources out there. All right, so let's just get out of this presentation and go right into OBS. I'm going to tab over, so I'm going to go over to OBS, and on screen here is OBS. This is what you're looking at. And right now I have set up a picture-in-picture. That's me in a little circle there in the corner. And what I'm displaying right now is that window that was just the presentation. And so I'm going to zoom in across this bottom bar and explain the structure. I can go here, and these two boxes, one called scenes and one called sources, are the core way that you build up using OBS. And you can think of these like Photoshop or layers. And scene is something that you present for people to see. And the most basic setup would be you just label it something like full screen. And that would just be, I just want to record my screen and it's my second monitor and that's it. What I'm going to take you through is setting up slightly more scenes so that you have a more, I guess you could say, higher production value or more control over what people see on the screen and how you take them through things. But the important part here is that you build up what people see on scenes. And what's in blue right now is what's on screen. So that one's called full screen, picture-in-picture. So that's me, I'm the picture-in-picture. And then what's in that scene is a Chrome window. I said, go and only show this Chrome window, and then use a webcam, just the one that's on my laptop. So those are the two things in this scene. There is this second display here, and because it's layers, you can't see it. If I click this little eye button here, it would disappear, and then you would see an infinite view of my second monitor, which is OBS, and I would just go into infinity. I think that's confusing. So I'm just going to show you this window. All right, so these are the two sources. And then I'm just going to move across. These are your audio monitors. And it just automatically, I think the nice thing about the OBS wizard, if you download it and just say, it set it up for me for screen recording, it'll walk you through that. It just finds all your audio sources and just brings them in. I think for screen recording, this won't get too complex. It'll record the audio. If you play a video in the screen recording, it'll pick up your microphone. It's very intelligent at finding all of your sources. Scene transitions, you're going to see what that means in a second, where things are moving a little bit. But then for our purposes today, once you set up your recording, you just say hit start recording, and it'll save a MP4 file to your folder, wherever you decide. So let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit so that we can get back to full screen here. And I just want to show you what some of that movement looks like. Again, this is brick picture-in-picture. This could be me walking you through how to use Canva, a great tool for doing 500 different things. Or if I wanted to just go full screen, I could just have me come off screen. Or if I click on full screen picture-in-picture, I come back on. But then what's interesting is if you were thinking about teaching someone and you wanted to introduce yourself full frame, go through an agenda, and then dive into the tutorial, you could organize your scenes to do something like that in OBS. And that's where I've organized these scenes in my mind as like, how do I want this presentation to start? And it might be full frame camera. Then I might want to show you the agenda, and then I would go into the tutorial. And so I'll just click on full frame camera, and now I'm big, full frame camera, and I go to split agenda, and I talk about use cases, demonstration, Q&A. That's what we're going to talk about today. And then I say, let's dive in and talk about Canva, if that was the tool. We're actually talking about OBS, which is, again, I got turned around a little bit for today's demo, because we're actually, the tool we're talking about is OBS, and I am inside it right now. But this is a demonstration, I think, of how it's harder to do this kind of setup in a traditional screen recording software, which is purpose-built to record your screen, and you can mark it up if you're using Snagit to draw things. And I think there are certain tools for certain projects. If you were building a series of content that was branded along in a certain kind of topic, I could see using this to walk through slides or a software demo and just having a look and feel that was very consistent across all of your videos. Okay, I just wanted to demonstrate the core concept of scenes, and I might go in and show you like what it looks like to build a scene from scratch. So if I wanted a new scene, what I'm gonna do on this demo is recreate I'm gonna create another version of full screen picture-in-picture, but just from scratch. So I'm gonna hit plus, and I'm gonna say new full screen PIP. It's blank. Everything's disappeared. And right now I'm looking at the sources area, and I need to add some sources. So I'm just going to build it up from the layers. And if you're on a PC, you'll see like Windows source. On a Mac, they present it slightly differently, but you're essentially just going to look for your second monitor or window. So I'm going to say Mac screen capture. I'm going to call this Chrome window. I'm going to do that. I see Chrome window right here. And that's another feature of OBS, which if you've created something in the past, it's very easy to just add it in. But I'll say Chrome window 2. And right now it automatically found my second monitor. That's not the one that I want. I actually want a window. And now it's going to look at my whole system, and it's going to ask me to pick which window do you want. And I say, I want the Chrome window. It found it. And there's some things like show cursor. Maybe you don't want to show cursor. I'm going to leave that on. And now if I just want to record the screen, I could hit record. I would have a screen capture ready to go. But if I wanted to add a video source, I go to capture device, and I could say webcam. Oh, but I have to give it another name because I already have webcam as a name. Webcam 3, just for the heck of it. And now it's going to look for my devices. So I could pick the one that's on my laptop, or I could pick a new one. I could pick Next Geo. That's just another webcam that's connected to, the color here is slightly different, but let's just pick that one for demonstration. And then now I am full screen. I can no longer see my screen, so I'm going to bring this down into the corner. And that other one had a circle around it. That's an image mask. That's beyond the scope of me teaching you how to do that in this quick demo, but I could crop this in a little bit. Things are starting to get a little laggy. My computer's a little out of breath trying to present Google screen share and OBS, but we're getting through it. So there you go. I've cropped it. I've moved myself around, and I've got a recreation of setting up a scene. So I think the takeaway for OBS, I'm going to turn this off because I'm a little laggy, is you think of it as scenes and you build it up. And you can keep it super simple. You could just have one scene, and that's just record my screen. And as a final thing, I got 2 minutes left. I want to show you an important part of some of that control that I was talking about. So in preferences, you're going to want to, if you have an opinion on the quality of your recording, you're going to go to this area here. And again, when you do the easy setup wizard, it's just going to pick this for you. And it has some kind of nice descriptors like large file size, really high quality. I enjoy the fact that they called it tremendously large file size, so I wouldn't pick that one. So that one's set. But then if you know a lot about recording specs and you want to choose a different setup, you could actually go into advanced and you could you go into the recording tab, and you could actually say, I want it to record at 10,000 kbps. And that's going to pack a lot of detail. And you're like, I know I'm doing a lot of screen recording, and I know the software I'm recording has a lot of small text, a lot of windows, a lot of interface items. Then you would go in and bump up the bit rate. And that's one of those things I think is a strength of OBS, because it gives you that control. And if you're currently using screen recording software that allows you to do that, you may not see a compelling reason to switch. But I think one reason I like recommending this is that it's powerful and free and allows you to start out simply by just recording the screen, but then you could go and start doing some of these full frame, split agenda, picture in picture. Now get into the tutorial. Now this is getting into more movement, more animation for the course.
So this concludes the HeatSpring Creator Series demo on OBS. Thanks for watching.